Like what?
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I really wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about why I decided to transfer schools. So many of you may or may not know that I originally started my college journey at Clark Atlanta University. And Clark Atlanta obviously is in Atlanta, Georgia. And just a little background, I didn't really, okay, so how I decided where I wanted to go for school. For school, I knew for a fact I wanted to go to an HBCU because a lot of people in my family have went to HBCUs. My mom did, and both my brothers and so many of my cousins. And with that being said, a lot of them went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. So I always was a little bit familiar with the Atlanta area and the AUC, Atlanta University Center, so I knew about Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta University. Now, of course, everybody wanted me to go to Spelman because Spelman is the #1 HBCU. I believe they're #1. It's an all-girls school, and they're just really good with academics as well as just like careers in general. Like, there's a lot of professional women that go into the workforce once graduating from that school. Clark Atlanta had my major while Spelman didn't. So Spelman has a lot of like sciences and the arts, stuff like that. And I knew I wanted to do something with media or writing related or film. So while I was at Clark Atlanta, my major was mass media arts, I believe they call it. And then you can select like a concentration, whether you want to do public relations, journalism, and I think there's like another option. Oh, film as well. So that's what I majored in when I was there. And honestly, that was one of the better schools that I got accepted to once I was applying for colleges. I'm not going to say I was like a 4.0 student or I got excellent grades, but I did fairly well in school and well enough, but I guess not well enough for Howard to begin with. So I got accepted to Clark Atlanta and Delaware State. I knew it was going to probably be one of those two schools that I was going to go to for college. I applied to Howard, didn't get accepted. I kind of figured that was going to happen. I was a little upset, but whatever. Now, I don't regret my time spent at CAU at all. I made a lot of great friends there. I have so many friendships to this day with the friends that I made. This shirt is acting crazy. With the friends that I made in Atlanta, I'm still great friends with them. I visit them often. I even went back for their graduation. And all of them are flourishing and doing very well. And I'm so proud of my friends. I'm happy for them, and I'm glad I was able to meet them and experience Atlanta as well. Because if I never went to school there, I probably wouldn't know that I do enjoy Atlanta, Georgia. And I found out it's a place that I wouldn't mind living in maybe in the future. So fingers crossed that one day I'll be able to make my way back down to the A, live there, get a nice little career going for myself. So the main reason that I decided to transfer schools, if you may be wondering, is, okay, so let me just rewind a little bit. I didn't initially intend on transferring. Like, once I got accepted to Clark, I kind of wanted to stick it out. Like, I did intend on staying there all 4 years. There wasn't any significant issues with the school itself. So I was like, okay, like, I feel pretty comfortable in this environment. I don't feel like, I don't know, some people hate the school they go to, but I feel like I adapt well to different settings. So I was cool with where I was at. Like, I didn't hate it necessarily. I just always felt like it was something in the back of my head saying, are you sure this is for you? I didn't know if it was really for me. Now, a lot of the friends that I had there were doing a lot of cool things on campus. My roommate was Miss Freshman. I had friends joining a bunch of like interesting organizations. But when it came to myself, I didn't really feel as though there was a place for me to like kind of slide in that I felt was home besides the school itself. Like, the school is the big umbrella, and then like the small subcategories would be like maybe a Greek organization. I wasn't old enough to join that at the time. I was a freshman. Or the Royal Court, like a fashion club, a broadcasting club, just different things that people were doing. Now, I was in like a mentoring group, and we did a lot of community service in Atlanta. That was something that I really enjoyed. And I also was in the broadcast club, but that was more so like an extracurricular, like academic type of a thing. So I didn't feel like that was really just like the group of people for me. I did still have these friendships, like I said before, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just kind of felt like when I was there, I was more so like living in the shadows of my friends. Like I was just there to be their support person, like help them along their journey or always support them, but I never felt like there was anything for me. Like I never found that one thing that made me comfortable, that made me stand out, that I wanted to keep going basically. So obviously I always wanted to go to Howard. It's a great school. I don't know if they're #2 school on the HBCU list. I don't know, but Howard is a great school. I always wanted to go there. It's closer to where I'm from. I'm from Philadelphia, and that is in Washington, D.C. So I could literally drive there in about 2.5 hours versus me getting on the plane to Atlanta for like 2 hours or driving for about like either like 11 to 13 hours. And I did that to go to school, you know, because I had a bunch of stuff and I didn't intend on buying my college, like, stuff for my dorm in Atlanta. I wanted to I like to be semi-organized and have all my things in order. So, I mean, distance wasn't an issue because I do like to be, like, away in different places, but I was just like, maybe I should apply to Howard. I don't know. One of my other close friends that went there to Clark with me, she was applying to North Carolina A&T, and I'm like, dang, maybe she's feeling the same way I am. So, let me just apply. And honestly, I did it at the last second. It was about a 2-week deadline. I think it was coming very soon. I knew I only had like a week or two, and I was like, oh, if I'm gonna apply, like, I don't have time to think about it. I need to act on it, and I need to do it. So I didn't really tell anybody as far as friends or family. I think I told my one friend Coral that was applying to North Carolina A&T, and I might have told my mom. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell my brothers. I didn't really tell anybody because I'm like, if I don't get accepted, like, I don't want to feel embarrassed that, dang, I didn't get accepted 2 times. Like, I just didn't want people all up in my business. So I figured I'd handle it from there once I like applied and find out what happened. Now my GPA was much better at Clark than it was in high school, so I figured I was going to be fine. But the only difference was I did have to write an essay. I feel like there was something else that needed to be done. I don't know. But when I went to Howard a while ago, like in high school to visit, I met this girl. I can't remember her name, but she was my tour guide, and she was also a journalism major, something I knew I was interested in. And she gave us all like her phone number or either her Instagram or something like that. So I reached out to her and I asked her if she could like read over my essay that I was going to be submitting. She was super nice. She said yes. She edited it in like a day or two, so that was great because remember, I'm on a time crunch. Like I made all these decisions in like one day, like emailing, trying to get my transcripts. If you go to a HBCU, you know these people are slow. They have no sense of urgency, so it's like, dang, I need to get my transcript. I need to make sure it's mailed out, get there on time, like, because it had to be the official one. I couldn't just send like any old thing I just printed out on my own. So once everything was all good and I got all that figured out, I don't remember what month I got accepted, but I did get accepted to Howard. Thank God. I was so happy. I remember that day. I remember I woke up in my little dorm at CAU and I was like, yay, like I saw your congratulations. Like I called my mom, I was crying. I don't know if my roommate was there. I don't know where she was at, but I was super hyped and I just like told everybody. And of course, like Howard is a little bit more money. So I don't know. I feel like my dad was like, are you sure you want to go here? Like, this is more money. Stay where you're at. But I was just like, no, I don't want to stay. Some people told me, Howard is a party school. You shouldn't go to Howard. Like, and I'm like, why shouldn't I go to Howard? Like, Howard has a better education than Clark. I felt like Clark low-key was the 13th grade. Like, I felt like I was in high school all over again. Like, I feel like I learned a few things, but nothing too valuable like during my time there that it was like I need to stay there for education purposes. And then as well at Clark, I felt like a lot of their alumni or people who may have went there, dropped out, whatever, graduated, just weren't as successful as I would have liked them to be. Like, I didn't feel like they had a strong network. Like, I would be able to reach out to alumni or receive any kind of support from them. So I was like, I need to go to Howard because everybody there is like doing the thing, okay? Like these people are moving on, they're becoming CEOs. It doesn't matter that they're famous. Every school is going to highlight their famous alumni and say, oh, we had Chadwick Boseman and Felicia Rashad and whoever else went there. Like, yeah, it's lit that everybody went here and became actors and singers and whatever else, but like, what else? Like, we got people at these schools trying to be lawyers, doctors. I wanted to be a journalist, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But I got accepted to Howard, and I feel like I need to blow my nose. I got accepted into Howard, and I was super happy. So the next school year, I finished out my spring semester at Clark, and so I finished a full year there, and then I applied to Howard. Ooh, great. Got to Howard. That's amazing. Had to bring all my stuff from Atlanta back to Philly for over the summer. I don't think I had an internship at the time. I didn't start getting internships until I went to Howard University, by the way. I feel like I don't know what they were doing at Clark as far as internships, or jobs, but I expected to be having an internship every summer or school year. And I didn't get any kind of internship experience or like hear any kind of like mentoring, or I didn't get the advice I needed to get at Clark. So I got to Howard. That was great. Here's the problem. When you're applying to different schools, you need to make sure that they're going to be taking a lot of your classes. Like your credits need to be accepted, because you could be transferring schools in there for longer than 4 years, longer than you wanted to be there for. And who has time for that? Why do we want to waste money? Why can't they accept the classes that you did at your previous school? So when I got there, they took 15 of my credits. I did 30, and I was like, So that's basically a semester behind. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be graduating winter 2018 instead of spring 2018. So I kind of made it a priority to always take more classes each semester. I knew I didn't want to be up in that school longer than necessary, or even like a whole another year later, because they don't have they don't have a winter graduation, they only have spring. So now I'm going to have to wait all the way till whenever to walk across the stage, and I'm not even going to be walking with my friends that I made there. So that's corny. So I was like, let me get these classes done. Like, let me do this. Let me take the max amount each time. Let me do 18, maybe 21 if I can. Let me take, what am I talking about? Not summer classes. I studied abroad one summer, so knocked out some Spanish classes. I had to have four Spanish classes. I got 2 out the way in the summer one year, so that was great. I'm glad I was able to accomplish studying abroad. I don't know any of my Clark friends who studied abroad, but I was able to, and one of my close friends, we also, like, it was a lot of people who studied abroad. Like, it was normalized at Howard pretty much. And I went to Barcelona, and you can check out that vlog as well to see how I enjoyed that. But just know, from the minute I stepped foot on that campus, I was grinding to get out of there on time. I did not want to graduate later. I didn't want to pay to stay on campus or live off campus. I didn't want to take online classes, none of that. I wanted to be done. So that was the main struggle of transferring. Now, later down the line, my senior year, what was that? Fall senior year, I was able to run around the campus and basically get these teachers to sign off on the classes they didn't take. So for example, they didn't take a science class of mine. So I'm like, maybe I can use this class as an elective, because I haven't done any electives yet at Howard. So let me go to the science department. I had to print out the descriptions from the classes at Clark. I had to match them up with a similar class that we had at Howard and say, can you please take this class? Like, I did this, I put the work in, I don't want to have to take it again, I don't want to pay for it, like, I already did this. I think I had a freshman seminar type of a class at Clark. We had something similar at Howard. I said, y'all gotta take this. So thank God they all took all the classes. They took all 15 credits worth, and I was able to use them for electives and different things like that. So thank God I didn't have to do like swimming or singing or acting or whatever those other classes are that people usually decide to take. What else? Let me tell you what else was like good and bad. Finding a friend at school can be tough for a lot of people. I know some people really struggled with meeting new friends, finding the right group of people to hang out with, because everyone was already friends from freshman year. You know, they met their friends and people kind of click up, and it can be hard for people to find a group that they feel like they relate to or one with, or they can really be best friends with. Because yeah, you can have a little buddy in class, but that doesn't mean that they're going to hang out with you outside of class or go to a party with you or whatever. Now, the friends that I made, I was so fortunate enough to make them during what was that called? I don't know if it's called like freshman week, but basically you have to come like a week before classes start in August. And I was able to meet some other, there's like a bird in my window. I was able to meet some other transfer students at this like transfer event. So I was able to make, how many friends did I have I kind of had a lot of friends at the time. Now, obviously some people like fall off, you know, they kind of become friends with the other friends, like have different subgroups, but I had like a solid group of friends that I met then, and I continued to be friends with pretty much the whole time I was at Howard. So I was so happy that I was able to find them. And it was crazy because I didn't have well, let me rewind. So I initially selected this girl that I met on Twitter to be my roommate. I'm like, oh, she's a transfer student too. And we kind of like talked online for a little bit. Like, I think I did hashtag HU18 or something to see like what the people were saying on the internet, because I was excited to be at a new environment. So I kind of wanted to see like who already goes here, who could I possibly be friends with. So we started talking, I put her down, and we didn't become roommates for some reason. I don't know why they didn't honor that, and she got a different roommate. I didn't have a roommate at the time, but one of the girls that I met at the transfer, like whatever it was, little transfer event, she had a roommate, but I guess she didn't get along with her too well, like over the couple days that we were there. So I asked like our RA or whoever, like, is it possible that, I'll just say her name, Selena. I was like, can Selena move in? Like, there's nobody in here. I know eventually you guys are going to fill the room, but like, can she please just move in this room? Like, we get along pretty well. She's having some issues with her current roommate. Like, come on. And like, she seemed pretty neat, and like I just could tell we were similar, like personality wise. So that worked out. I don't know, that was just God on our side, I guess. So obviously you get closer to whoever you live with, so we became good friends, and we're still friends today. She lives in Atlanta along with my friend Desmond, so that's part of a reason why I wouldn't mind living in Atlanta. So it's like I already have my Clark friends I'm still in contact with, and then now I have my Howard friends there too, and they did kind of meet like I think once or twice, and everybody's cool. So that would just be great if I could move there one day, but that's besides the point. So friends was good for me. Eventually the classes was cool. I mean, class is class. It wasn't really too hard. I was a political science minor. I would probably say that was the hardest part, like, but my journalism courses were not difficult to me. I mean, some of them were kind of challenging because you're kind of thrown in these situations where, being in Washington, D.C., we always had to go to different events, like whether that be like a lot of politics, obviously, hence D.C., a lot of political related events, a lot of events at school, a lot of marches, rallies, things like that. So you have to talk to a lot of strangers, and that can be interesting, but you get used to it pretty quick because it's like, do you want to pass or do you want to fail? Like, obviously you need to interview these people, get the story done, get these deadlines, and you need to wrap it up. Like, you chose this major. So I'm trying to think, is there any other struggles of transferring? I wouldn't say the housing was a struggle because they kind of treat you like a freshman when you transfer. So you get a priority of where you would like to live. Like, I selected a building that was fairly new versus one of those like old dorms that didn't have air conditioning. So yeah, that first year was great because I was able to live where I wanted to. Now after that, it's kind of a free-for-all. But what else? I got friends. I transferred. I graduated. That's all I can pretty much say. Now, as far as was it worth it? Did I need to? I think honestly I could have still been at the same level that I'm at now if I stayed at Clark. I did. Now, while the school itself, I didn't feel like always encouraged me or motivated me to do well, the friends that I had in my circle were always on their stuff. Like, I have a friend that's a publicist right now for Sweetie, the rapper. Like, he's doing so good. I'm so proud of him. He moved to LA. Like, we're both from Philly, and I just feel like people like him and the other friends that I have that own businesses now. I have a friend that's a singer. I just have a lot of cool friends. One of my friends bought a house down there. She's doing really good. I think I would still be successful if I stayed at Clark. I think it was just a personal preference, and I'm glad I experienced both schools. Yeah, I don't think it would have made a difference if I transferred. I'm glad I did, though. I really enjoyed Howard a whole lot. And I'm the type of person who likes change. I like new environments, so it was cool for me. But you probably don't need to. But I would say I probably should have worked harder in high school, so my grades could have been a bit higher, so I wouldn't have had to transfer in the first place. Like, I could have just started at Howard. I probably would have had different friends. Like, things are different when you start somewhere from the beginning. But it was cool. But I hope that gives you a little insight on why I decided to transfer. It wasn't any crazy reasons. I wasn't crying every day or nothing like that. I didn't hate my life or anything. I just kind of always wanted to go to Howard. So that's why I transferred. Yeah, that's it. I don't really know what else to say, you guys. But if you have any more questions about the process I went through transferring, or if you have questions about Clark Atlanta University, questions about Howard University, HBCUs in general, feel free to let me know. I'll answer your questions. I think this was a pretty detailed video, but if there needs to be another one, I can always do that. And thank you again for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment below.